Today on the Topping Show, LSU frat boys chant USA over protesters going viral, Matt Walsh on a recent Pitbull attack, Charlie Kirk and Vivek on House Bill H.R. 6090 and the implications for the First Amendment, the Pelton CEO is ousted and more jobs are cut, Rivian chooses Illinois for the R2 factory thanks to $827 million in incentives, and Walmart recalls some of the beef that they have been carrying. All of that and much more on the Topping Show. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. I say he's white, handsome, and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have the Pelton CEO ousted and more jobs are subsequently being cut. Now, this is brought to us first thanks to Emma Thorne over at LinkedIn News, in which they say, quote, CEO Barry McCarthy is stepping down. The struggling workout company also said it's laying off 15% of their workforce, or about 400 employees, as part of a significant cost-cutting push. Peloton plans to continue closing retail showrooms and revamp its international sales plan in a bid to save $200 million by the end of 2025. The company recently reported disappointing third quarter sales results, with sales dropping 4% from a year earlier and revenue falling for the 9th quarter in a row. Now, they also note that Peloton has not turned a net profit since December 2020, which, again, a lot of startups, they'll have the times where it might be years until you make your first profit, but once you hit that point, ideally you're supposed to keep making profits for not the rest of the time, but for a pretty good long amount of time after that. I mean, Tesla and Amazon.com are probably two most famous examples of companies that churned through and burned incredible amounts of capital and lost money for years before they finally broke even and then finally made a profit. Now, Peloton's in a little bit of a pickle, or a fat roll, might be more appropriate pun or joke there, because they peaked during the pandemic when the government forced everyone to shut down and live at home, and they couldn't go to the gyms. There's a really big compelling reason to go buy one of those fancy thousands of dollars bikes that can't actually bike anywhere. And a lot of people bought them. And at the time, they're industry leading. There really weren't a lot of competitors. Now, there's less demand because, again, the country isn't yet shut down. We'll see what happens in the future. But everyone's starting to go back to gyms. All the competition in the fitness industry is caught up to them with other, some might argue the same, if not better options by throwing on a big fancy touchscreen and having an instructor yell at you. And some of those are also more reliable, with Peloton having multiple recalls. I don't want to say it was half the business blunders in 2023 on the show, but they had quite a few. So they have unprecedented lower demand and even more competition. I can't but think one of the only silver linings of the situation is that at their peak, they were able to buy out one of the best treadmill companies on the planet with the Precor treadmills. Granted, I'm a little biased, been using one for over 10 years. I love those things. They're darn near bulletproof for the commercial series. But it's an instance where I won't be surprised if they try to spin it off or maybe do another IPO just to have Precor on their own again. Because again, I mean, Peloton needs capital and need to change their business plan. I know one person in the past, I should say this past fiscal year, aka past 5 months, who's actually gone out and they bought a new Peloton machine. And these storerooms, I don't know if they're really moving sales. You also noticed earlier this year, they announced that they were going to partner with a couple entities like Dick's Sporting Goods. So they put their Peloton bikes in there so people can see, maybe buy it there. And then they're going to have a relationship with Hyatt Hotels, put them in there, and hopefully people will see, fall in love with them, and buy them subsequently after a visit. But I don't see those moving the meter too much because of the aforementioned reasons of, again, a lot more competition and a lot less demand. And if we look at their stock really quick, let's see here. I'm going to kind of pull this up, as youth might say, off the cuff. Well, not really the youth might say, grandpa might say that, but let's see here. Let's see, Peloton stock. Remember, last week it was crashing quite a bit. Let's see. Yeah, they're a bargain stock now. Past 5-year trend, the stock is down 86.43%. Past years down 56.15%. Year to date, they're down 41.15%. Past 6 months, down 31.77%. Past month is down 5%. Interesting enough, last week, yeah, the news, I don't know if this is right at the new CEO, it went down 22% in a day, but then did recover. So actually, last week averages actually increased by about 7%. Granted, by the time this video is rendered and uploaded, it'll be different because that's what the stock market does, but it's around $3.42 per share. And again, if you go to the 5-year trend, it's like they peaked around $162.72 per share in 2020. Which, granted, that was a peak pandemic. So I'm not sure what kind of turnaround plan they're going to need. It's not just internal costs. I mean, you can cut those, and granted, that does help. But again, where's the demand for this product? And can they really withstand the test of time? I mean, they certainly had their moment in the spotlight. But let me know, when's the last time you actually heard of someone buying and using a Peloton? Have you ever had the opportunity to try one yourself? Do you like it? As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Don't forget to take the time to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, sharing the video is a great way to assist as well. And lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.